Hi everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name is Imogen, and this was a highly requested video. Maybe it's one of the most vulnerable videos I've ever made. So, I started journaling in 2014, and so far I've written 25 volumes of journals, and in this video I'm going to be sharing some entries from the last few years, 2021 to 2023, and commenting on them. So basically it was sort of my late teens to my early 20s, which is where I am now. Don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, that's in the description, get your notifications on, and let's get into the video. Okay, so, fair warning, a lot of entries in here deal with mental health, they're fairly depressing, and a lot of similar topics, so if you're not comfortable with that, turn that off now. I kind of chose this period from my late teens to early 20s because it was, and is, and I think this is the same for everyone, a period of, significant change. So I had a lot of thoughts and experiences which are probably pretty common to a lot of people around my age. Let me know in the comments if this is the case for you. Maybe I could do more mental health related videos in the future, if there's a market. So, without further ado, here is the first entry. It seems so brutal to just give up. I never just give up. Maybe that's what scares me the most about therapy, having to give up to heal. Even thinking about it feels like part of my soul is being torn away. I can't do it. This was me considering going back to therapy for some stuff I was dealing with in my personal life, and kind of how I didn't feel ready to give up on some aspects of my life, which I knew I needed to let go of. Essentially, I knew to be mentally healthy that I needed to let go of these things to heal, and I was just really cut up about it. I was like, oh, I'm not ready to do this, I'm not ready. And it was just sort of a long reflection on that. I can go a week wearing the same hoodie day or night. I can go 3 weeks without setting foot outdoors. I can spend a whole day in bed. I was in a very bad depressive episode when I wrote this. I was preparing for my A-levels and I felt I really didn't have the space or time that I needed to focus on my mental health, because obviously my exams were too urgent and really important. Obviously I had very high grades to meet, and so I realised that putting my academic performance ahead of my own well-being is something that I did a lot, and it's something that I still do, so that's something that I'm still working on. I had an amazing mac and cheese today. I like this entry because it came after a series of really sad, depressing entries, and a lot of small things in my life I realised sort of keep me going. Also, I think it's really funny to go from talking about, how everything is terrible to, oh, I love mac and cheese. Also, FYI, I still love mac and cheese. That is, the key to my heart. I finished A-levels, I'm so happy. After 2 years of incredible effort, I made it, I did it. It feels incredible, it feels amazing. I gave it my all and I have zero regrets. I was clearly in a good headspace here. I feel like a lot of my entries around this time have a really sort of up and down quality. Some of them are everything is terrible, and then it's everything is great. And my mood would swing around a lot, but this was just a good day. First day at my first proper job today. I learnt how to deal with the emails, phone calls and voicemails that we get, and I also met the CEO. I didn't realise he was the CEO at first because he was just a nice, normal guy. The end of school was a really weird, busy time for me. As soon as A-levels were over, I started applying for jobs immediately, because I hate to feel useless. And I started my first job 2 weeks after I finished A-levels. So obviously I was proud to be earning my own money for the first time, but the adjustment from intense study to a relatively relaxing admin job was a nice change, but I also struggled sometimes with feeling like I wasn't doing enough that I should for uni. But in reality, though, I just needed a break. But it was a difficult adjustment for me at that time because it was so abrupt and so sudden. My grades are more than a categorisation of my ability, more than a uni place. They're even more than the culmination of the best 2 years of my life. My grades are part of me. I poured myself into them. Although they don't objectively define my self-worth, I feel like they are a part of me. This entry was just before A-level results came out, and I was trying to mentally prepare myself for any scenario. I was just going through all the possible scenarios that could happen based on the information that I had, and I was kind of reflecting on how much of my self-worth, again, was defined by my academic achievements and how much I'd tied my identity to it. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Timetables and Zoom links and email accounts are bewildering to my brain, which has been sitting behind a reception desk all summer. I haven't really sorted out a routine yet, either. I actually look back on this entry with a lot of compassion for my younger self. So, having been at uni for a couple of years, as I have now, the prospect of a new term isn't nearly as scary as it was the first time, but back then it just felt like the only thing in the world for a while. It's reached the point in the term when everyone is tired, just trying to limp towards the holiday and rapidly running out of shits to give. I chose this entry because it's a very common theme of my life. Academic burnout happens to some extent, and about 80% of the way through every term, I think, because the terms at Durham are intellectually intensive. I mean, as you'd expect, you know, it's like you say you want an academically challenging course and then you complain when it's academically challenging. But that's how it is. At this point, I think you just have to remind yourself that you're lucky to have a place at Durham. That's how I do it anyway, and sort of power through it, but there is a definite point where a lot of people are just trying to make it to the holiday. Well, I'm in a clean, warm bed, having had a bath and fed myself. Greg's in the singular Twix, but more importantly, I fed myself, so I guess I passed the adulthood test for today? Seriously though, what the fuck? Someone really should supervise me. This was at the end of my first term, and I stayed in a hotel for one night before I was going home for Christmas. It was my first time staying in a hotel on my own, and I was just sort of sat in this big hotel room, and I was just thinking about the level of adulting I was doing versus the level of adult I felt like, and I felt like I was doing sort of, I don't know, level 50 adulting, and I was like a level 2 adult, so I was like, someone should supervise me. This isn't normal, but it is normal, and it's just a sort of early 20s feeling lost kind of thing. I had a really good, busy day yesterday, 4 hours of lectures and a tutorial. It was a nice day, and I felt some of the same gratitude I used to have in sixth form, that I should value being in a college, because one day it'll be gone. This was just before the end of Epiphany term, and although I was obviously burned out, I was kind of reflecting on the fact that I felt lucky to be able to do the degree I was working on, even if it had really busy days. Right now, I'm tired, I have a headache, I'm stressed, and I can't be bothered with this shit. What if God is really just tired and kind of doesn't care and just wants to play The Sims with free will set to high? Around this time, I was questioning my connection to religion a lot. So I'd been listening to Burnham's song From God's Perspective, which proposes the idea that God kind of isn't too bothered with humanity and thinks we're kind of odd for being so serious. I really like this take, and to an extent it kind of helped me move on from religion as I knew it and kind of redefine it for myself, which was a very long process. Again, if you're interested, I can do another video on that, but I will leave a link to the song in the description because it's hilarious and everyone should listen to it. It's good that I'm going back to therapy this summer. Hopefully I can improve my mental health going into second year, and that'll boost my grades. I love going to therapy. Obviously, I don't love needing therapy, but I love the feeling of making progress on my mental health, and I was very excited to do that in the summer of 2022 because it was the first time I actually paid for my own therapy. I had a full-time job, I was paying more than enough for my goals at the time, and I went to therapy all summer. So I made a huge amount of progress, and I was extremely proud of myself. And it did, in fact, I think I credit that with improving my grades quite a lot in second year because I was in a good enough space to be able to give my all to the degree. And so never feel ashamed for taking care of yourself because it is the most productive thing to do in the long run. Actually, if anyone wants a video on therapy, comment below because that is a video I would love to make if you would love to see it. So please let me know, and I could make that for you. When examined, this problem reveals itself to be 38 smaller problems in a trench coat. When I was rereading my journals and looking for content for this video, this entry really stood out to me because it just made me laugh. That's honestly been such a theme in my life that I couldn't avoid including it. Obviously, it refers to a particular specific problem I was having at the time, but it's just so widely applicable that I had to share it. I think this is like a theme in life in general, like when you examine a problem more closely, it becomes a host of problems, or solving one big problem depends on the details, or 38 smaller problems in a trench coat. I'm a mess, but also, I'm okay. Am I satisfied with my life as it is? No, of course not. I always want more, and I always notice what I consider to be gaping inadequacies, but a few of my deepest fears for the summer, unemployment, bad grades, lack of an internship, have either been partially or fully relieved. These last two entries, bringing us up to the present, were a nice sort of full circle moment. Like, from my own experience, I feel like this is a good summary of what your late teens and early 20s are often like, sort of constantly worrying about whether you're doing a good enough job of figuring everything out, feeling confused, feeling confident one moment and then super uncertain the next, judging yourself, judging other people, ultimately navigating a period of insane, incredible change. If you're doing that, then let me say, well done, it's not easy, and you're doing great. I'm very proud of you. Also, seriously, this is my little plug for the entire video. please try writing a journal. Seriously, it can not only help your mental health in the moment, but then you look back on it, it reminds you of how previous years were and what happened, and you'll be like, oh yeah, that happened, I forgot about that, I was really proud of myself for doing that. And I often feel a lot of compassion for my past self when I reread journals. I'm like, damn, she was doing well, she was doing good. And I think you should also feel that kind of compassion for your past self. So, get yourself a blank line notebook and give it a go. Let me know in the comments if you got on well or if you got on badly, how you got on. So yeah, that is your little challenge. Get yourself a journal, write in it whenever you feel like it. Hopefully it will help you out up here. So we are done for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Again, it's in the description. Get your notifications on. I will see you next time. Alright guys, love you all. Bye.